Well, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says tonight that freshman female lawmakers of color are being targeted. Is she right? Let's turn to Halie Soifer, who is the executive director of the Jewish Democratic Council of America, and Stephen Fiske, the chairman of the Florida Congressional Committee. PAC, welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Well, welcome. Glad to be here.
Okay, so I'm going to read you a little bit from our senior Capitol Hill producer, Chad Pergram, who spoke and heard these remarks off camera. He said that the Congresswoman said this: there's no question that we're being treated differently and targeted, all women of color being targeted, and referred not only to Ocasio-Cortez, but Tlaib and others who she says have been unfairly targeted. Stephen, what do you think?
I think these congresswomen, the new freshmen, are not showing the decorum and the professionalism of the office that they've been elected to, and I don't believe their constituents elected them to act and speak the way they've been speaking.
Okay, there were even Democrats who were concerned about how this all rolled out, the addition of some things, the fact that Congresswoman Omar's name was not included. I want to play something from Florida Democrat. This is Congressman Ted Deutsch. He is Jewish himself. Here's what he had to say.
Why are we unable to singularly condemn anti-Semitism? Why can't we call out anti-Semitism and show that we've learned the lessons of history? This shouldn't be so hard.
Halie, why was it?
Well, what we saw today from the House was the Democratic Party coming together to unanimously oppose not only anti-Semitism, but all forms of hatred and intolerance. It was the Republicans who were split on this measure, and 23 of them voted against. So while there may have been a disagreement at the outset about the scope of this resolution, in the end, there was unity.
Yeah, and just let me, yes, there were 23 Republicans who voted no. Most of them issued statements saying it was a sham. They thought it was watered down. Yeah. They were not supporting anything negative, but they were against supporting something they thought was essentially not really addressing the root of the problem.
The condemnation of anti-Semitism was
Shannon.
in no way watered down. It was as strong as it was at the beginning of the week, and it wasn't watered down.
Okay, Stephen, adding the additional things, does that change the nature of this resolution?
Well, let me just jump in for a second. The Republicans that did not vote, that was a protest vote. I know a lot of them personally, guys like Louis Gohmert and Ted Yoho, Lee Zeldin, a Jewish Democrat in New York. I mean, these guys were protesting. Why can't anti-Semitism stand on its own? It was all about anti-Semitism. Representative Omar was speaking anti-Semitic tropes for the last 2 months, and it should not have been included on anything but anti-Semitism.
Well, to this point, Ben Shapiro tweeted this. He said, Omar says anti-Semitic stuff repeatedly. Media. Omar makes controversial comments about Israel. Democrats water down resolution to avoid condemning Omar. Media. Democrats vote to condemn hate. A few GOP vote against sham resolution and protest. Media. Republicans are anti-Semitic. Halie, is it a fair accusation to make?
It's not. This was actually the third time that the 116th Congress has voted to condemn anti-Semitism in just less than 3 months. And this resolution was very strong in its condemnation of not only anti-Semitism, but intolerance in all of its forms. It was important that the House take this step. Certainly, we found Representative Omar's comments unacceptable. And this resolution defined anti-Semitism not only to include the form of white supremacy that the House originally voted on.
But don't you think she sounds like the protocols the elders of Zion?
Let's let Halie finish her sentence.
Sorry, I apologize.
But also, it included generalizations about Jews and negative stereotypes, the kind that we saw Representative Omar use in the past. So this condemnation was very strong, and it was not watered down by including a condemnation of other forms of hate and intolerance.
All right. Well, a lot of people making note and asking why they have to have a third vote on this in just a couple of months. Stephen, very quickly,
Halie, why did it take 7 pages to say hate is hate? It sounds like the protocols of the elders of Zion, and Nancy Pelosi needs to make a decision. Are they the Democratic Party of Jeremy Corbyn or of Kennedy?
I think the 7 pages actually demonstrated the strength of the Democrats who put this forward, because it was a very detailed resolution condemning anti-Semitism.
It took a long time to get there, but they finally got there today. Now we'll debate what was in it.
Hate is hate.
Halie and Stephen, thank you both. I think you both agree on that.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Pleasure
you so
being
much.
here.
Thanks.